Hi, talk about it. I have it right in front of me here, and I'm going to just go through. So, very well organized and detailed, which is fantastic, especially since you're doing it online. You want to make sure that, that you really have people clear on expectations. And you've done a great job of it. We had one more reason why we should always get people who claim they are non-creative to lead creativity sessions because they tend to be more organized, which is great. So immediately up front, I did notice that level of organization in terms of having video conferencing, Lino it, and of course setting things up well in advance. So actually, as you're getting this feedback, you are already well into your session plan, and I'd be curious to hear about how it's going because people have already started responding to your Lino it board. So I am curious about whether the video conferencing has a whiteboard because it seems like often you're pointing to for example, the guidelines for divergence or convergence, and it would probably be helpful to have them on a whiteboard, but if not, that doesn't seem insurmountable. Um, so it's great. You already did your 30-minute presentation. I'll be curious about how that went. And also, you've already created your 4 canvases, so which is quite ambitious homework. So hopefully you have motivation and buy-in from people to be working on those canvases. So yeah, so let me just see. Okay, so you have a really robust um, group of activities heading into the session, and then April 2nd you're going to meet on video conferencing and Lino it. And really good job also taking care of all technical issues because of course those can really get you. So 10:05 to 10:15, review postings on Linovit and observations. Okay, to contribute more at this time. Great. And then you go into clarifications. What is stopping? Okay, what is stopping collaboration from happening? So basically, you're going down the web without going down the web, right? And I guess my question here is whether your goal is to basically get buy-in to your problem statement with maybe some revisions, or whether your goal is to significantly change the problem statement. And either one could work. So, for example, if in the Lino it, and you go, and when you were asking the question, what is stopping from collaboration from happening? What if, so people might say things like, and I don't know your situation, it might be that there's one person who's a gatekeeper who is preventing collaboration and communication. There might be that there's technological issues. You know, I don't know what all the issues are going to be, but let's just use those as examples, right? So are you going to go through an exercise where you now say, you know what, our core problem, if we were to be able to take care of this one gatekeeper who's blocking communication, then actually we would resolve 80% of the challenge. Why don't we focus on that and change our problem to statement to how might we deal with this gatekeeper, right? And so it seemed from what I was seeing and the fact that you're only giving 15 minutes to it, that you're really just looking for to flesh out your problem statement, but to keep your original problem statement as is. Okay. So then, which seems appropriate, and people will net. So what you want to watch for is people will in your next part where you're going to be exploring ideas, people will naturally have an implicit problem statement in mind. So if in the ideas they say talk to the gatekeeper or use a different technology, then they're automatically going in their head going back to an implicit problem statement, right? That's more specific than the broad one of in what ways might we approach our colleagues in headquarters to improve collaboration. So if you notice that there's any that there you might want to raise those assumptions as they come up, So as people are brainstorming in the next stage and saying, this is what I see as the answer, you might say, okay, so we're assuming the core problem here is blah, 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 blah. Do people agree with that? Right? So just explicitly making the link so you're sure you're solving the right problem. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, just ask me. You know what? Everything else looks really good. My only question is around exploring ideas and brainstorming via Linoit for 11:35 to 10:35 to 11:05, and I'm wondering how exactly that's going to happen. Are you going to be sitting there as ideas come up for half an hour? That doesn't quite seem like it will work perfectly. I'm wondering, if you want to tie it into the break where you say, okay, now everybody needs to come up with 10 ideas, and then, before you go on your break and then take your break, we'll come back and we'll discuss them and build on them, and then do hits and highlights, or how you want to exactly facilitate that so that, because it seems like a long time for everybody to be sitting there watching stickies come out without a more structured process in place, and maybe you have one in mind. Otherwise, this looks great. Very exciting, and let me know if you have questions, and I look forward to hearing more about it.